I don't know what that is. And I don't care to know either. And don't try to explain it to me. I don't want to know. It's none of my business. That's just not my path. I don't want to hear about it. It's not sparking joy.
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. It's a news and news episode. We had a week off, so some of these news stories might be a little overripe, but we're going to get to a couple of them and then some new ones. We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello, everybody.
Let's get to what you really want to talk about the most, the thing you're most excited about, which is the death of Anthony Head. Bummer biz up front. Bummer biz up front. We are late to this, obviously, but it's something we want to talk about. Hell, we talked about the other Buffy cast members who've died, so might as well talk about it.
I specifically put in a request that they stop dying.
And I think I informed you that via text that it's that request that is making them die, Eric.
No, I don't.
Someone out there has one wish willowed the death of the Buffy cast, and I think it's Willow.
No, you take back that mojo.
Well, so obviously Giles, a beloved character. He's also the one actor of those who have died so far that, was elderly, but also didn't leave the show and then enter into a bunch of substance abuse issues or things that it was more surprising, even given his age.
I mean, Michelle Trachtenberg was health issues, with her life.
Health issues, mental health issues, or any sort of life turmoil that we were aware of. And he went on and continued to be in things like Merlin. Obviously, Ted Lasso was a big thing where he was a recurring role.
I'm sure there are people who really primarily know him from Ted Lasso at this moment.
Oh, yeah. The Buffy watchers are fewer and fewer these days. So, but yeah, Ted Lasso. I enjoyed his cameo in the In-Betweeners movie. It's another reason I can recommend In-Betweeners to everybody. The In-Betweeners movie, he played Will's dad, and he was a real C-word, which I think paved the way for him being the character on Ted Lasso that he played. But also something called Little Britain. I don't know what that was.
Oh, you didn't remember the sketch comedy show, Little Britain?
Well, I do, but I don't want to.
And then they did a U.S. they brought it to the U.S., and so I remember I had a TCA panel.
If you say so.
I do say so, I do.
If you decree it so. But Anthony Head has passed away at the age of 72 due to complications from pneumonia. And then also his wife, who was, I believe, 10 years younger than him, died just right before him.
Oh, almost. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was either at 1 year before or several months before, but it was a really small gap. She had passed away as well. So, but yeah, this is, I guess, following Nicholas Brendan's passing, we got to see, first of all, the Buffy cast is working overtime, sadly, with their Instagram tributes and memoriams and stuff like that. Everybody, you got to get the Marsters and Boreanazes in there as well as the core Scooby gang who are left. But with Anthony Head, they didn't have to be what Charisma Carpenter basically did. It's I choose to remember the person I knew rather than the person that you sort of became throughout the years. I just, for all accounts, he was beloved by everyone, and the character meant a lot to people. The surrogate father character for Buffy Summers on the show, Eric, wasn't he as we look back at how old people were and how old we thought they were when we were younger? Is he 40 when the show started?
He's 42.
So much younger than we are now.
He was 42 when he started playing the character.
He's so much younger than we are now.
No, of course. Yeah.
I still feel like if I, right now, as a 50-year-old man, walked into that library, I would see Giles as a father figure.
Sure. No, absolutely. That is what he projected. Yeah.
As I say this, as I'm about to go to my grandson's birthday party tomorrow,
right.
I still feel like a boy. So it's
absolutely. Yeah. The fact that Sarah Michelle Gellar is a decade older than he was but you wouldn't think that even looking and watching interviews with her now. No, he was a great actor. Obviously.
He was an older looking 42-year-old than there are nowadays. But yes,
absolutely. But a great actor, a crucial part of that show. As far as the role he played on a show with a lot of bad dads, being a very sort of steadying force for Buffy the character, but also the series in general. to the point that it's like when he left the show, and he left the show because he wanted to go back to his family in the UK.
He became a recurring character in the later
Right.
seasons. Yeah,
but then they could like land with a lot of weight when he would come back. And then it was great to see him playing such a twat on Ted Lasso. And it was really sad to hear this one. Just because he's just someone who I think a lot of people have such sort of affection for. And that show. I mean, I will say, like, Buffy is always getting new fans. It's just it can't have like the intense fandom it had back when it was actually airing. But what else?
Back when it was only one of 15 shows on television. No,
yes.
It can't compete now with the 1,000 shows that are available. So
three main Buffy cast members in like a year and a half. Now I demand this stop. But also, I also want to mention with Anthony Head specifically, his just the funniness of his earliest thing of fame being those coffee commercials, which were to explain for people who don't know, and I did have to explain this to some people online this week, how there was these coffee commercials that originated in the UK. I didn't realize, Matt, that they weren't Taster's Choice in the UK because they didn't have Taster's Choice. When they came to the US, they made it Taster's Choice. But it was a soap opera in commercial form. It was actually very inventive.
Yeah.
And it was these two neighbors, flirtatious neighbors, and he was the guy. And people became heavily invested in a way that pre-social media is very impressive, because if this happened now, people would the fucking fanfic,
now we have another coffee couple to fixate on, and it's the brother sister dynamic,
right, forever. Yes,
from the Folgers ad. I do remember those. And did they just rebrand the coffee coming over here? Was it the same coffee? Or
I don't know if they reshot them or if they just changed what it was advertising at the end. But
that was his ticket to Hollywood, and he just came over here and decided to try to make a go of it. I don't know if he gave himself a timetable, but then he just landed the Buffy role based on these series of commercials, which were, I think, more of a showcase commercial wise for an acting role than most commercials, right? Like that you could show up and be like, hey, this is almost a reel. I'm showing you a full story unfolding. In this meet cute flirtatious coffee commercials. But then he got the role of Giles. I'll say also that he was in one of my ex-wife's favorite movies, Repo the Genetic Opera, directed by Darren Lynn Bousman of Saul Helmer fame, starring Paris Hilton. He was the Repo Man in that. Anyway,
and
he was a musical dude. He was Frankenfurter.
I was going to say, he was Frankenfurter, which I believe he did in a TV. I mean, he'd done it on stage, and then I think he did a TV version of it. And then the two other things I'll mention about him, one is that I was fascinated when I learned years after Buffy had begun that his brother was Murray Head of One Night in Bangkok fame, because that was my first favorite song as a little kid. That was a song I was obsessed with.
The song from Chess is your favorite song?
I remember the radio version.
Radio. I know. Right.
But yes, the Head brothers. And then also just the fact that there were serious talks. It's one of those bummer, like, could have been projects, because after he moved back to the UK and Buffy had wrapped up, there were serious talks between Joss Whedon and the BBC to make a Giles spinoff called Ripper, and they moved pretty far along with it, which would have been just cool and fascinating, both as a spinoff, but also because it would have been like a BBC produced show. I'm sure 20th Century Fox obviously would have had to be involved, but the fact that they kind of went pretty far down the road trying to make that show happen, but unfortunately did not.
For those wanting to go down a rabbit hole, look up the musical Chess and how it was this Tim Rice musical with ABBA about the Cold War era chess tournament between two grandmasters. Anyway, One Night in Bangkok sprang from that. But I do want to call out Murray
and
Head
the
also.
Revival on Broadway with Leah Michele right now that is wrapping up next month, because ticket sales were going to drop so much after she was leaving. It obviously was star driven, the sales for that they're just going to wrap it up with her.
I mean, I would think it's One Night in Bangkok driven. I'd go in. I'd pay to see that banger.
That's true.
But Murray Head also wrote, I believe, Superstar, the main theme from Jesus Christ Superstar, which is a incredible show closing song. Anyway, Murray Head, everybody. Let's talk about his
Murray
brother.
Head, but R.I.P. Anthony Head.
R.I.P. Anthony Head. Here's some other old news just left over, which was that I believe we brought it up, so we should close it out.
Yes.
Which is that the Stargate series that was headed to Amazon, whatever the revival, reboot, sequel series to this franchise, has now been canceled. It's been axed, and apparently it's because executives were worried that the EP showrunner Martin Garrow, who was a writer for other Stargate shows in the past. His take on the show didn't have broad enough appeal for what it didn't hit enough quadrants, Eric. It was just for Stargate fans, apparently. And they felt that was a little too narrow for a new Stargate show in this day and age. So
yeah, and it's funny because
I can see that. Yes,
I can see that too. When they made the announcement, it was him along with the guys who ran the original show who were going to be consultants. And it was the announcement was so much about making sure the fans of the original knew that they weren't gonna break continuity and that they were gonna keep canon and keep true. And I did. It's fun. I got some heat for this on Twitter because I said something to the effect of, I can see that this is the problem these days of like, well, we want to revive this thing. And you don't want to piss off the old fans, but how much of the old fans are you trying to appease with this? And then people got so mad about, but it's such a loyal fan base. And as we're going to talk about the box office here shortly, but we're also talking about an era where they did a bunch of Star Trek shows, and now they're kind of dwindling down. And just speaking frankly, as a nerd, Star Trek is nerd shit. It has a very loyal audience. It didn't run for 10 years because no one was watching it, SG-1, but it also wasn't like it wasn't like a mainstream hit, and it also was pretty low budget. And
it's if we're like doing hierarchy or tiers of fandoms, like I don't see anyone at fan expos walking around with Stargate cosplay. You know what I mean? Or wearing Stargate shirts, or like they would have their own convention for that, like their own smaller thing.
And it doesn't mean the show is like bad.
This is if you need a show that's going to draw people in who have never heard of Stargate. That's how you're going to have a show that lasts now.
Yes.
You need people to be like, what is Stargate? It's an old thing. Like but they're still going to watch the show. But also like if they ask the inevitable question, do I have to have watched all that other stuff to watch this show? You want to say no.
Yeah.
Right. Like you don't want to say no, you got to watch Atlantis and the original series and the movie. And you don't want to say that. So
no. And again, this isn't me saying the show is bad. Isn't me dismissing that there is a passionate fan base. It's just saying that, yes, because by the way, Matt, of course they're going to say, no matter what they're going to say, of course it's accessible, but also there's the weight of saying, but there's 17 seasons of TV between the three shows that are canon. Just brings weight with it. Like, just brings like a lot that if you're not Star Trek, even where if you don't have a big enough fan base where you're like, well, okay, this is such a long-term fan base that we don't want to piss them off. I can see them being like, yeah, maybe this has the burden. And that's not saying this was going to be a bad show. Maybe the script was really awesome. I can just also see that other side of the trickiness of all of this.
Keeping with sequels, there's now word that Sony is working on and don't let the title throw you. 24 Jump Street.
Yay!
Which you might be wondering what happened to 23 Jump Street, which is the movie that's been in development for like a decade, and they've been trying to sort of like launch this. And it was basically briefly said that they waited so long they had to skip a number, and that the stars Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, and Ice Cube are all in talks to possibly return for this new.
Jonah Hill's co-writing the movie, so it'd be a little weird.
Like he could co-write it and kill himself off. I don't know.
I guess
off screen, but yeah. So, but a 20-something Jump Street movie is going to happen at some point, so that's good news.
Look, those are two freaking really funny movies. The second one especially impressive because comedy sequels are so notoriously tricky to pull off, but the second one is still really, really funny. And so, yes, I do. It's, is it Rodney Rothman is going to be directing? Who is
either a very wrestler name or a very superhero name. Rodney Rothman is going to.
Well, yeah, and he's one of the directors of Spider-Verse. Again, Lord and Miller directed the first two. I'm assuming there'll be EPs on this, and so now one of the bros is going to direct for this new one. I endorse it.
Let's talk about box office last. So let's talk about and all these new press rounds for Odyssey coming out. Where did Damon say that he might play Born Again or be up for it or he'd give it a go? Or
Parade. He did an interview and he just did a like, hey, we're always looking at trying to figure it out. The last thing we left off with was Universal. When we ended the Bourne run, and we're like, "Where's the franchise at?" Universal like buying the rights outright, so that because they were shopping them, so basically Universal making sure that they kept the Bourne franchise going forward, whether it was with or without Damon. But Damon just basically keeping the door open, not saying I'm done forever.
Are they going to obey the Bourne stunt show canon of Nikki still being alive,
I mean, they
though?
better fucking do it. That's what I'm saying.
She's like, I've been leading recruits on secret missions down in Florida.
Actually, the trailer is going to be like Bourne finding like some message, decodes it, it says stuntacular. And it's like, what?
I mean, that's a perfect name for the movie. Is the Bourne.
There you go. So,
also, I also feel like because he got in shape again for like super ripped shape for Odyssey, he's like, I don't want to leave. I've got this body now. Let's do a Bourne.
That's true, right?
I want to get back into shape and
this is your moment, Universal. You better see.
I have a window, or else, and after a year, I'm going to start eating cake again. So
he puts like a countdown clock. Like
that's the real Bourne ultimatum. Yeah, that's the really. He's like, look. And then you put here. You're talking about Naomi Ackie, and you want to bring up other things she's in because she's just cast.
No,
well, you did because she's in End of Oak Street.
But that's not why I put those other things. Oh, is she in the End of Oak Street?
Yes.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
That's why I thought you put it there. Okay, that's not the story that you want to talk about. She's joining Micah Monroe in the It Follows sequel, They Follow.
Yes,
and
which really is happening.
Probably have seen her in something because I saw her in Mickey 17 and Sorry Baby. You saw her probably in I Love Boosters and something else, but
she's everyone saw her.
Also going to be in the End of Oak Street, yeah.
Whether they liked it or not, everyone saw her in Rise of Skywalker. So
I don't remember. I saw that movie once, and I do not remember it.
But yes, she was in that motion picture. I can attest to it.
Oh, did she wind up being Lando's daughter?
No, or maybe is there some small reference that maybe she is, but her main thing is that she's another ex-stormtrooper. I
feel like there was something at the end,
but she's an ex-stormtrooper like Finn. Yeah, she had a busy year last year because she was in Sorry Baby and Mickey 17, also something called The Thursday Murder Club. But I saw those other two. Oh, Thursday Murder Club was
a Netflix movie where people at a retirement home solve murder, like do cold cases, try to solve murder.
And she's going to be in Clayface. She's actually working all the time.
That's the movie. Yes, Clayface.
But the main reason I brought this up was a couple things. Well, one, wow, the It Follows sequel is really happening to the place that they're casting. Because this was one of those sequels that has been, talked about forever. A sequel to a cult movie, and you never know if it's really going to happen. But this one is actually taking off, and so they're talking to I guess it's supposed to film in like a month or two. And so Naomi Ackie joining it. And then the reason I put those two things there, Matt, was twofold, which was one to say, so, because this director is, about to have his first sort of big budget movie, not huge budget, but looks like a mid-budget movie with The End of Oak Street, which is one to say, that movie looks really cool. Have you seen that trailer? I like that trailer a lot.
Sure. It's the year of Hathaway. Isn't she in like 4 movies this year?
Well, I don't know if she's in 4, but I guess she might be. Yeah, I think.
When's that Treadwife movie coming out? Or is that still in development?
Yeah, I did see. Although I don't see Naomi Oki listed on the cast list for End of Oak Street, so I don't know where you're getting your information
from. The article. Hold on, maybe I'm reading.
I think you might be.
Okay, here's the paragraph. They Follow is eyeing a summer start. Mm-hmm. News of Akkie's talks for the film comes ahead of the August. So it's. His latest feature is this
there
movie.
You go. Okay.
So it's the same director. She's not in it.
Yes. But yeah, David Robert
There's
Mitchell,
still time to put her in it, though.
There's still time to put her in.
Post-credits.
It's interesting that he's about to have a bigger movie, and then he's going to go back to the one that launched him. And I look forward to it, but it is funny to say that if I had to choose my Micah Monroe cult movie sequels, I really like It Follows, but I don't need a sequel to it. I'll see it. I'm just not asking for it. But who asked for it, Matt? Nobody. But it would obviously be The Guest, would be the one that I would first want to happen, which has always been batted around, never happened. And then that's why I was going to also bridge this into saying, I wish They Follow well. I'm going to see it. I hope it's great. And I have a feeling will be. But have you seen the trailer to Onslaught, Matt?
I have. So it's funny because in the trailer, they were like, because it's a Wingard movie, they were like, from the director of Your Next and Godzilla versus Kong. And I'm like, hey, you skipped a movie. Anyway, that was my whole thing. Like, they didn't say The Guest, which I feel like is as known as a Your Next. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like, unless they just didn't want to overload people with titles, but like also those two movies, if you just said You're Next and The Guest, would make me want to see Onslaught more than telling me it was from the director of the last two Godzilla Kong movies.
Right. But they made the money.
Yeah, I know, but they don't feel like Onslaught-y.
I know. But the reason I'm bridging it into this is just because there's so many theories that is Onslaught a secret The Guest sequel or Sim Universe movie because
it's like super
soldiers.
Super soldiers, yeah.
And that they're, in government conspiracy and whatnot. And
after we saw the trailer, my girlfriend was like, I want to see that dystopian movie. I'm like, I don't think that was dystopian. I think it was just a trailer park. I think it was just poor people. I don't think it was a dystopia. I think it was just people living out in the desert on purpose.
Now I imagine her saying that in Fire Walk with Me when they go to the trailer park. I mean, there is some dystopian aspects anyway to Twin Peaks, but
yes. Anyway, those who haven't seen the trailer for Onslaught, it's online. You should check it out. It's got Adira Arjona, Bix from Andor, and Dan Stevens. We assume not playing his guest character, but we don't know. And it's like super soldiers attack a trailer park, but guess what? They picked the wrong trailer park.
And that makes it like You're Next, because obviously like the girl who's like very ready to fight is like You're Next. And I mean, it is funny that he has made it very clear, him and Simon Barrett, that this was their palate cleanser after doing two Godzilla movies. It's like, go back to the small budget. It is funny that it's a movie that feels very, whether it's actually connected or not, it probably isn't, but it feels very connected to his first two movies. But I happen to love his first two movies, so I'm fine with that.
Let's talk about Murray Head some more. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about the thing I said would happen and then happened.
I agreed with you.
Sure. Bandwagon-esque Eric Goldman.
I think most people knew this was coming.
And my pick of the year for biggest box office is going to out Avatar, and Avatar, which is Masters of the Universe, which of course bombed. It's just like, so I think the best case scenario it had going for it was that it was going to wind up being something like a Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which is like, it made money, but like not nearly enough because it was an expensive ass movie filled with special effects to make, right? Like, and that's what Masters of the Universe is, like, so much this whole fantasy realm that you have to fucking CG in there constantly. For a 40, 50-year-old property that has a lot of nostalgia, but how much nostalgia is it, like, enough to like carry something this big? Not at all. Like, not, and even if they went the route, which they did, of making it tongue-in-cheek and funny, and personal review from Matt, I thought it worked mostly, but man, there were some jokes that didn't land and some meta moments I didn't appreciate. One I thought was amazing, but the rest was like kind of Anyway, entertaining movie, but it was not going to, clean up at the box office. And it was a bad move, but I'm glad I get to see it. I'm glad they made it just for me, is what I'm saying.
That's the
they
right
sure
thing.
Spent a hell of a lot of money just to appease me.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's like, again, it was aimed at our demo, and that's the thing. So I liked it more than you. I really liked it. I do think there are a couple of jokes that definitely do not work, but I mostly was really enjoying myself with it. I really liked the tone of it. I love the look of it. I love that all the characters look exactly like the character. Trapjaw, amazing. Trapjaw.
Oh, he looks so, when he walked out at the beginning of the movie and like in that hallway with Duncan, and I was like, holy shit, he looks amazing.
He looks amazing. Travis Knight obviously embraces these aesthetics in such a great way. But at the same time, as much as I was enjoying it, I was both thinking, okay, I don't think anyone young was going to care about this anyway. And then it was funny because near the end, there are like two or three, they're almost jammed at the end, direct meta jokes that are based on the cartoon, all of which landed huge with this guy. But I'm like, man, this would be like, no one would understand what is happening.
I know.
In these moments.
I'm gonna give a little Masters of the Universe thing away while also giving away my history with Masters of the Universe, which I've probably brought up on the podcast before, which is that I was not allowed to have G.I. Joe. So my jam mostly was He-Man with Transformers, with Transformers Waterback, right? Like, it was like with a side of Transformers, but mostly He-Man, because I had Snake Mountain, Castle Grayskull, I had Eternia, I had Hordak and the Swamp and the Slime Pit and all that shit. Anyway,
a waterback. I never knew that term. You got me to just look it up.
Oh, that's like when you're basically drinking. You want some
Yeah,
fucking
no, I know.
water. Yeah.
I'm
So
seeing it. I just didn't know it.
so it's so that's what I had, and I had, you know, this was a time when eventually they made it illegal. It's like you can't just make cartoons to sell toys, and then like, which is why like the toy lines for those specific three, really, G.I. Joe, Transformers,
Mhm.
He-Man, were so extensive with characters that you could collect that sometimes barely appeared in the cartoons because they just needed to make more characters
Right.
constantly. Um, when they started, it was Skeletor, Beastman, and Merman were his two main goons in the toys.
Yeah.
Now, on the cartoon, Merman would sometimes be there, but his main head stooge was Beastman.
Yes,
right?
he was.
He was a buffoon. He was an idiot. He was a boob, if you will,
Well,
a bungling fool.
yeah,
or a
Skeletor would call him that. Yes.
yeah, you royal boob. Anyway, so, but I love Merman. And then they made the Masters of the Universe movie, the infamous one where they had some characters from the TV show, but then they just made up characters for no reason. And so I found it kind of amusing from an audience content standpoint, which is that there's still no merman in this movie. And what they did is they replaced what could have been a merman role with the fucking guy they replaced merman with in the original movie, which was a made-up character for the movie who appears as a big henchman in this movie. They took an 87, what was the year? 87 for the He-Man movie. They took an 87 character that wasn't from the cartoons or toy line and put him in this new movie, and once again denied me merman. Like, I was like, no. Anyway, so
well, here's where I get to break something to you, Matt. Merman is in this movie.
Where's Merman?
He is deep back again. He is basically a super Easter egg. Blink and you miss him, and I did miss him. It's only because people.
I sure as hell missed him.
I'm trying to find the pictures online. Maybe before we end this podcast, I'll find them. Basically, he is hidden in the background in the first mid-credit scene, the one that does the big nod to the end of the cartoon.
He's in that? I was
yes.
too focused on the central character.
And
okay.
I did read there was a little backstory about they didn't have the costume finish in time. Then when they went back to reshoot that, they did. So they just basically put him in there. He looks great. He looks just like you want Merman to look. But he is just hidden in there.
Oh, I'm heated. Oh, I'm hopped.
I mean,
up.
There's so many things set up for a sequel that we'll probably never get. For what we'll say this for what it's worth.
They teased me with Hordak. Obviously, I thought we'd get the tease that we got, but they teased me with Hordak too. So,
well, for what it's worth,
unforgivable.
Anyway. Amazon did put out like an odd little press release about how happy they were with Masters after its disappointing box office. But it is one of those things where, because it's like, is Jeff Bezos just a huge Master Universe fan and he'll just fund sequels no matter what? Like,
you know, it's bad enough that our super wealthy rich billionaires who have enough money for the next 10,000 years of family don't decide to unilaterally like solve the world's problems with climate and starvation and like homelessness and like strife all across the world, and they use it for all selfish reasons. But if the middle ground is just making if the concession, if the compromise is just like, oh, make another Masters of the Universe movie, I guess I'll take it.
Well, this is the thing. It's like so many awful things are happening because this small little group control everything and own everything, and of course, just sort of by their own existence are not going to have our best wishes, in mind. But if they occasionally just want to make us a Masters Universe movie, I guess.
This is our Coliseum games to distract the masses. Yeah,
exactly. This is what we get, and I guess I'll
anyway,
take that.
What did it make? It made like 50 million for the weekend, and that's not good enough. So yeah,
it's not good enough. And guess what was the number one movie on Monday and Wednesday this week?
I know, because you track everything Obsession does. It's almost like you're obsessed, Eric.
I am. Motherfucking Obsession. It was Scary Movie on Tuesday. Again, which was that we should have mentioned, was the number one movie, which everyone saw coming. Again, this fact that the movie with the early aughts nostalgia was going to beat the movie with the 80s nostalgia. Even though I can tell you, Master Universe is the better movie between the two. But yes, Motherfucking Obsession was number one twice this week. I do want to mention on an Obsession tangent that because this movie will probably never be number one for the weekend, but will be number one multiple times on weekdays and just won't drop or drop minimal. It's the craziest performance since My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Has other people been pointing this out too? But a movie that obviously is just not on the radar for like the geek sphere. But My Big Fat Greek Wedding was also a summer movie, no expectations, no stars, and then just wouldn't drop and just like legged out to be a monster hit that made a fortune. So it's a rare comparison to make between these two films, and yet there it is. Matt,
they made 3 Fat Greeks, right? Like
they've made 3 movies and a TV series. Yes,
they made a TV show for
they
who?
did
for what?
make
For when?
I mean,
was it before the 3rd movie?
Yes, it might have been in between 2 and 3 or 1 and 2. I just texted you merman photos.
Oh, he's sitting there. He's sitting on a bench.
Yeah. Yes, so there you go. But yes, Master Universe, I don't see having some amazing legs, and it costs so much. But again, who the hell knows these days?
I did, since he's a character in the movie. They sort of had to choose, like, oh man, which villains do we showcase? There's so many, and who are He-Man's allies going to be? Because there's so many to pick from, so they had to be selective. But they did choose Ram Man, and I had a Ram Man figure, and it was the cheapest piece of shit. It was like, even for the most part, those figures were amazing. I love one of my favorites was Clawful, who was not in the movie, but like had a giant lobster claw and he looked really cool. Ram Man was like almost a solid piece of hollow plastic. That sounds weird to say, but it was just like he couldn't move him. Like,
he wasn't an action figure, really.
No. Like you could only push his legs up into him and then push the button on the bottom of his feet and make him spring up. Like and it was really stupid. Anyway, I would have chosen someone else. But anyway, just based on that stupid figure.
By the way, that movie, I loved. It had some good Fisto. I definitely enjoyed Fisto in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you need your Fisto fixed, it's the movie for you.
Yay, Fisto!
Okay, we've got a write-in. Let's get to the you part of the news and news. Jeffrey writes in, and this is based on Insidious, which we just did, and look for Insidious Chapter 2 coming up this next Monday as we run through the Insidii. Jeffrey writes, this movie was my introduction to Tiny Tim. I'd never heard Tiptoe Through the Tulips prior to seeing it. Then, a few years ago, I went back and started watching Monday Night Raw from the beginning. Imagine my surprise when Tiny Tim shows up as an on-screen performer and starts a minor episodic feud with Jerry Lawler. Tiny Tim dubbed him the Burger King. Just further proof that everything ties back to pro wrestling.
That is very funny. And it was funny that Matt and we both remembered Tiny Tim because he was like an oddity, not a member of the wrestling faction, the Oddities, but an oddity in like our pop culture 80s background. But Matt actually remembered the song and I did not. I just remembered like the presence of Tiny Tim. I sent Matt this week an amusing video. Again, the algorithm, it's so funny. It's like, oh, you're talking about Tiptoes? That YouTube suggested for me. McKenna Grace has a child 8 years ago performing the week she put out a new music video. But little girl McKenna Grace performing Tiptoe Through the Tulips. And it's very cute and it's very funny she does that song. Though I said to Matt, how dare she, because she's part of the Conjuring franchise, not part of the Insidious franchise yet. So she's doing the wrong James Wan. But I guess
I hope you let her know online.
I did
how wrong she was.
But the Conjuring doesn't have a signature song, so there you go.
Well, thanks for ruining the rest of the Conjuring that I have not seen. I don't know that there's not a theme for Annabelle. I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, I'm sure there is a musical theme. I'm just saying they don't have the song.
They don't have
the entrance music.
It's not mentioned in the write-in here from Jeffrey, but I should let you know that while Tiny Tim did not smash his ukulele over Jerry Lawler's head like a guitar shot, Jerry Lawler did smash and break Tiny Tim's ukulele, as in a villainous move. So
that makes sense. McKenna Grace, by the way, I should note, does play the ukulele on that song. And I hope now that she's like doing more pop music as, a young adult, she brings that one back into her rotation in concert. Yes, okay. Matt's doing a big stretch. Big stretch, guys.
Stretch and rubbing my eyes, getting the day started. Let's talk about recommendations, Eric. You got one?
I do. recommend Disclosure Day. Matt's seeing it tonight, so I'm going to not say too much. I know it's very divisive, so we'll see what side of the divide Matt is on, but I quite enjoyed it. But I'm going to be hold back from that. You can watch my video on YouTube if you want, because I'm going to make my main recommendation, especially because I just know it's very under the radar compared to Disclosure Day, The Furious, which is out this weekend. I think it's in wide-ish release. It's not
Well, it is, but if I want to see it at Alamo,
Exactly.
First of all, I have to wait till Sunday, and then I got to go to like an outer rim Alamo and catch it in a tiny theater. So yeah,
Outer Rim.
I looked up showings because I want to see it before I want to see the Frontier before it's gone. But I may not be able to catch it. But we'll see.
Okay, but Matt, I demand you catch it because
You can't demand these things because you demanded the Buffy cast stop dying, and look what happened.
Okay, but this one I demanded. No, The Furious is just fucking rad. Do you like rad things? Do you like just seeing the coolest action ever? Then you should see this.
I mean, I guess I don't because I didn't see RRR. So,
oh my god, that's right. He's a failure. I forgot. Anyway, The Furious is an action movie. It's directed by Kenji Tanigaki, who is a longtime stunt coordinator, Hong Kong stunt coordinator, but he's also done some U.S. stuff. He did Blade 2, did one of the G.I. Joe movies. Third movie as a director. And I mean, it's a very basic story, which is a mute guy who, man of action. He's a handyman, but he's also amazing martial artist, as you do. His daughter is kidnapped.
Mr. Miyagi?
Yes, his daughter is
a handyman martial artist.
His daughter is kidnapped by an evil group of child traffickers. He goes looking for her. It turns into a buddy scenario because he finds a guy who's looking for his wife, who is a journalist. Investigating the same group who went missing. The other guy, you very well might recognize the other guy, Joe Taslim, because he's in The Raid. He was in Fast and Furious 6. He's Sub-Zero in the current Mortal Kombat movies. And it's the stoic guy and the more jovial guy. And they are just going to, just fucking have one ungodly cool action scene after another. It is the greatest, it's the best martial arts, just pure, one-on-one fighting movie I've seen in a long time. Joe Taslim is one of two actors from The Raid in this movie, though it is not the same filmmakers as The Raid, but it's that sort of, just adrenaline rush, just awesome, cool shit throughout this movie, and scenes that are just so well choreographed, but they're also well shot, and you can see everything that's happening, and it's really exciting, and things happen that you're like, holy shit, did that guy just do this thing? But now you move on to another cool thing he's doing. And I saw this movie at 11 a.m. at a critic screening that was 2/3 full, and yet most of us were cheering because it was just one of those movies where you just have to get wrapped up in it all. And I quite recommend The Furious.
The Furious, but they're not fast, right? They're just
no, they're pretty slow actually. That's the
thing. It's
oh, so slow, so achy.
My recommendation is more basic. It's a network procedural, Eric. So I occasionally find myself on the hunt for my weekly stories, and by that I mean more mystery shows, crime solving shows, not fucking Chicago Fire or something like that, where it's more of a workplace cop or fireman show or something like that. And The Pit is I would not consider a straight procedural just because of its 24-hour or it's 24 style time crunch. I tried Elsbeth. It was fine. Just someone comes in and solves a mystery case. USA did it for a while on a lot of shows. But the bread and butter of network TV. So I recommend High Potential, which I started watching, which stars Always Sunny's Caitlin Olsen, not related to the Olsen twins, spelled differently. Married to Rob Mack, as he calls himself now from the show. And it is based on a French-Belgian series, also called, that show's called HBI, but High Potential, I thought it was going to be about Caitlin Olsen plays a stoner who solves things. It's called High Potential. High Potential sounds like a fucking Method Man Red Man movie, right? Like a How High.
National Lampoon's High Potential.
Right, exactly. It is not that at all. It's basically she is an HPI, a high potential intellect, which is just she has a 160 IQ, but she also has sort of an obsessive nature where if she sees problems, no matter how big or small, she has to solve them. It's basically kept her from holding steady jobs. And, she's very confrontational because she's Caitlin Olsen and she's funny and awesome. Anyway, she gets a very TV premise gig as a consultant for the police. It's very Sherlock Holmesy. So there's an element here where she's basically Sherlock Holmes, because Sherlock Holmes in those old stories is always like basically portrayed in the same manner, which is like an overactive mind that constantly needs to solve and challenge itself, or solve problems and challenge itself. And if he's idle, it's his worst tendencies come out, stuff like that. But anyway, she gets a LAPD consulting gig, and guess what? Solves all the crimes every week, and it's very enjoyable. She's a very charismatic actress, so it works. And that's what I've been watching. It's only 2 seasons deep, and they think the first season's 13 and the second season's 15, so they're not doing like 22s, but you can watch it on the old Hulu or Hulu via Disney Plus or whatever. So
it was one of those funny things where I'm like, I am thinking on one hand, you're like deeply explaining a show that is considered a hit network show that's had 2 seasons, but I also know TV's so fractured that there are.
I don't know any. I don't watch network shows.
Right.
It's like just.
But and also, we should mention that the creator of this show is Drew Goddard.
Yes.
Yes. And obviously, we knew him first as a Buffy Angel alias a Lost writer, went on to write Cloverfield and The Martian and Cabin in the Woods, which he also directed. So lots of great stuff from this guy. He created
he wrote the pilot episode, and I can't tell you because I'm not familiar with the original European show, like how like maybe the pilot is just taken from the first pilot of that show, and I don't know how much mirrors the original series, but that's his. Aside from being the creator and EP, he wrote that first episode.
I believe what might have ended up being, we'll find out, the last in-person TCA press tour, I believe, was when High Potential was there, because I remember Goddard and Caitlin were there. And I do see that coming on for season 3 is the new showrunners are the very busy Zuckerman sisters, Nora and Lilla, who wrote the Buffy pilot that didn't get picked up, but now are also writing Scream 8, and now are going to be show running High Potential for season 3. So get me the Zuckerman sisters there.
Get me the Zuckermans. Yeah, and it's got recognizable people. Not so much in the supporting cast, but Taron Killam, SNL alum. Taron Killam is,
and Judy Reyes, who they had.
Judy Reyes, Garrett Dillahunt. Yeah,
the reason Judy Reyes is recurring on new Scrubs is because she's in first position, series regular on High Potential, so they can only get her up to Vancouver to film Scrubs here and there.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but wasn't Trish a fan of Grimm?
Yes.
Okay, the lead of Grimm, David Giotoli, something like that.
From Road Rules?
Is he from Road Rules?
He is.
Then he went on to be on Grimm?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew him from Grimm. I didn't know him from Road Rules. Okay. Anyway, he's got a good villainous, like, multi-episode arc. It's really cool. Anyway, High Potential. Yes. You're not going to see a lot of martial arts or any on this show, but yes, if you're looking for something to put on when you want to go to sleep at night, I recommend High Potential.
Not only was he on Road Rules South Pacific, but he was on The Challenge, The Gauntlet season. So he did 1 season of The Challenge, which is so strange that show is still on long after Real World and Road Rules morphed into something very different.
I mean, I was not watching Real World or Road Rules post. When was Real World Vegas? 2001, right. 2, when was that?
Yeah. It was around then.
I wasn't
2002.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything post that. So.
I dabbled, but I was mostly out. No, but 2 seasons after was San Diego, and I definitely watched that. Because San Diego is the season with Jamie Chung. And so
that was the one where the guy slapped the girl with Lyme disease, right?
No, that was Seattle.
Oh, I thought it was San Diego. Okay, no. I did not watch San Diego then. Okay.
There you go. Anyway, yes, I've heard good things about High Potential. I like the people involved in High Potential.
You know what would get me to watch Real World again? Merman.
There you go.
That's what they should do. Do a Real World fake show with Masters of the Universe. That's how you continue it.
I'm in. I endorse this.
Remember when everything was going to be Office style? Like, just do it like The Office.
Just do it like The Office.
All right. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got anyway. I don't
that's all I got. It's okay. It's okay.
You may want to talk about Onslaught some more.
We can wrap it up. It's okay.
Holy hell. Okay, so yeah, next we've got Insidious Chapter 2. And until then, everything's possible, but nothing is real. And Shockma.
Shockma.